Hello and welcome to the SFCA podcast. Our goal is to inspire travel. We want to expose you to what Miami and South Florida has to offer. From Key Biscayne to Coconut Grove, South Beach to Calle Ocho and everywhere in between. Miami is a vibrant city and offers a wide array of popular attractions and venues. Come join us. So welcome everyone. Messi is here. Did you have a chance to see him last night at the DRV Stadium? It was amazing. It was raining buckets, but he still came out on stage and he was introduced by his new bosses. His debut game is this Friday, the 21st, against Cruz Azul. Tickets are still available through Ticketmaster. The lowest price I found was $286. Now, keep in mind, those tickets were about $10 in early May, and tickets go as high as $4,500. So if you don't want to go and spend that amazing, exorbitant price, and we definitely want you to go to the Marlins game that's coming up this Friday as well, as they do throughout the weekend. It's almost sold out. We're going to hear some more information on that. But first, thank you for joining us. We truly appreciate your continued support. This is our 38th call. Can you believe it? We started it in May of 2020, and we still are moving strong. A special recognition to all our sales teams, hotel managers, and support staff that are on the call. For those of you just joining us for the first time, welcome on the call. We share facts, figures, and stats in South Florida tourism. We also have some entertaining and informative facts that we hope you will enjoy. I want to make sure that everyone is familiar with the chat feature. You're welcome to ask questions of the panel via the chat or the Q&A. Very important you know how to use a chat feature because we do have merchandise. What are we giving away on this call? Marissa will be giving away a spa treatment after her presentation. Juliana and Rachel will be giving away 4 tickets for a Marlins game after their presentation. Andrew will be giving away what everybody needs, a $50 fuel card after his presentation. So all you have to do is win and focus on the presentations. Listen to the question, be the first one to give the right answer via the chat and win. You can only win once on the call though. So if you win the first time or second time, you cannot win. You're excluded from winning any other prizes for this particular call. Good luck to everyone. I want to introduce you to the panel, the man with all the information and keeps us up to date on all the stats and figures in South Florida, Mr. Andrew Woodward-Smith with the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau, and also the lovely Ceci Velasco from the Ocean Drive Association will give us some information on what's going on in South Beach. And we're actually planning for New Year's Eve already in July. So we'll hear more information on that. Our special guests today are Juliana Fury from the Miami Marlins. She's the Assistant Director of Business Development. Also, Rachel Martin is on board. She's the Manager of Tourism Development. And then Marissa Contreras is back. She is founder of Calma and Leaf Spas, and she's here for Miami Spa Month. It just started this month. It runs through next month. We have some great information on that. And don't forget, she will be giving away her prize. So without further ado, I introduce you to Rachel and Juliana. Juliana, go ahead, take it away.
Hi, all. Thank you for joining. Rachel and I are excited to be here. As Miguel mentioned, I'm the Assistant Director of Business Development for the Miami Marlins. This summer, the team's off to a hot start, second in the NL, our second best record this season, and we have a lot of exciting offers to get out to games during the week. We just launched our Concierge program this year, so for every different tier that you move tickets, you do get a different prize. For the offers for Monday, we offer $1 Kids Nights. For Tuesday, we offer a Taco Tuesday with every purchase of a ticket in a specific section. You get tacos with your ticket. On your Wednesdays, you get 4 for $44, so 4 tickets for popcorns, hot dogs, and sodas. Thursdays, we do a Thirsty Thursday with a happy hour before the game, and Fridays, we'll do a Burger and Beer Friday. So you get a burger and a beer with your ticket. So those are the different offers that we do have this year. And our weekends, we typically do have different heritage nights. This weekend or next weekend, coming up, we have our Venezuela Heritage Night, which is followed by a concert. So you get a Venezuela jersey, Marlins jersey with the ticket to the game. And would love to introduce to you Rachel as well, who just joined us, and she's overseeing our tourism program.
Hello, everyone. As she mentioned, I'm Rachel Martin. I oversee the tourism development. I came over from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I did 7 years of tourism with them. And after working in a sport with only 10 games, I wanted to kind of expand the lucrative opportunity. And I did a lot of extensive research in tourism, hospitality, travel, and I think that we can all agree that Miami is a very hot hub for international and domestic travel. So it was a really big change for me. I went from 10 games to 81 games, but with that, there becomes a lot of lucrative opportunity for the Marlins and for you guys. So as Juliana mentioned, we just kind of kicked off the concierge program this year. But one of the big aspects of it is that we can kind of work together to make your clients, your guests happy. So that's something that we're really pushing this year and moving forward. If you guys are interested at all in joining that, reach out to Juliana or to myself. We're happy to get you that information. As she mentioned, we have theme nights and different kind of giveaways and stuff going on all the time. But the other thing is your guests are just as important to us as anything. And so being able to package things together, that's really what I'm doing. I'm working with travel agents, tour operators, online travel agencies all over the world to bring more people to Miami, and the people who are coming to Miami to introduce them to the world of baseball, right? Because not many people really know what MLB is. They've got their own style baseball going on, but we do have the Caribbean series going on in February. And so really for us, it's opening the eyes of international travel to an experience that they may not be able to get at home, but additionally giving you guys a little bit more of an opportunity to offer discounted rates for tickets to your clients, your guests coming through. So we are going to do a hospitality night at some point this year too, to kind of show our appreciation to all of you and your coworkers and employees to be able to come out and have a really good time. And I know that there's a lot of competition going on when it comes to hotels and resorts and stuff like that, but this kind of can be the one time that everyone comes together and can mingle and be friends. And so we are going to do that too. But if you are interested at all in the concierge program, reach out to Juliana, and packaging in any way, shape, or form. That's kind of what I'm here for. So there's a lot going on in the world of tourism in Miami, and I'm just trying to bring that all into one place with the hotels, the airlines, and then bringing baseball into that world. So thank you all. And we look forward to hopefully seeing whoever's coming on Friday out at the ballpark.
Great. So yeah, thank you very much, Juliana. Rachel, you're hosting a small number of concierge to the ballpark on Friday, this coming Friday. Question for you. We do have some sales teams on board. So if there's a hotel that does not have the luxury of having a concierge on board, will you still have a tourism package of some sort to promote to their groups and potential customers?
We do, and we have flyers. We can make promo codes. We could give you guys schedules, whatever it is, to offer up to guests that are staying with you for different things to do during the week. Obviously, during the summer, it gets hot and there's not too many things to do inside in Miami, especially when it rains. So one of the great things about the stadium is that it is indoors. So we do have a roof. It is air conditioned. So for concierge that, yes, they don't, or a hotel that doesn't have a concierge on site, we can offer a discount promo code that'll give all the guests discounted tickets with no fees to the games.
And cool. To piggyback off that, normally it's like if there's no concierge desk, there's a front desk that kind of offers things to do. Or if guests come up and say, hey, I want to do something today, it's raining, or I want to do something today, what is there to do? They'll have the ability to say, hey, we've got savings rates on Marlins games. So it doesn't have to be concierge. That's just normally the easier process in hotels. But we know, and I know very well that a lot of concierge programs or a lot of hotels don't use concierge programs. They use their front desk. So always something for everyone.
Cool. And whatever code you provide, whether it be a QR or a link, that is going to be stagnant throughout the entire season. It's not on a per game basis, correct? So they can use it whenever they like. Perfect.
Correct. The only blackout dates or date right now is going to be the August 12th game versus the Yankees. But the other games are all offered.
Cool. I wonder why. Must be the most popular game in the season. How is the attendance going throughout the season?
The attendance is going great. We are up from last year. We were up 19% from 2019. Not accounting the 2020 and 2021 season, just things being back fully after the pandemic. But we're up from that this year. You know, next Saturday, we're expecting to have 30,000 fans. The stadium holds 38,000 people. 2 weeks ago, we were at 25 to 27,000 fans per game. So it's definitely picking up. A lot more than it was when I started at the Marlins a year and a half ago.
Got it. So most popular game is the Yankees. I guess the Philadelphia Phillies are also very popular.
The Phillies are popular. It really just depends on, honestly, like what we have going on at the stadium.
Okay.
We're playing the Detroit Tigers in 2 weeks, and with Miguel Cabrera and it being one of his last games or his last game before he retires at the stadium and doing a whole ceremony, you see all these people coming out for that. So there's going to be huge attendance for that. You see the Dodgers series, obviously, but also you're seeing Tampa Bay Rays. We're playing them midweek towards the end of the month, and they're a hot team and the only other team in Florida. So that's a hot game as well. So you're seeing it all around. Team performance definitely helps, but with tourism and all these companies and people coming to Miami and just wanting to see baseball, that helps as well.
Excellent. Well, thank you. You ready for your question? We're giving away 4 Marlins tickets.
I am. Okay. So on what is the offer at Lone Depot Park at the Marlins games for Tuesday? The first. Okay, Gary. Taco. There you go.
Taco. There you go.
4
so
tickets.
Who is the lucky winner? It looks like, hold on. We're going to even take the misspellings. Let's see. Marlins are winning. Gary Figler. Congratulations. You won 4 Marlins tickets, Gary. Yay. So we will put you in contact with these lovely ladies and we will get you those tickets. Again, we will share both of your information, Juliana and Rachel, with everyone on this call so they can reach out to you individually and make sure that they get their link or QR code so they can go ahead and share that with their prospective guests. Thank you very much for your presentation. If anyone has any questions for them, please ask now. I don't see none so far. If you do have any questions after, feel free to do so throughout the entire duration of the call. Again, thank you very much, ladies. We're going to move on now to Marissa from Kama Spa. Marissa, go ahead. We are going to get you
Good morning, everyone.
Running.
So I'm gonna do, before I do my slideshow, I'm gonna ask everybody. So remember, beauty and relaxation, it starts with our mind. So I'm gonna ask everybody to close your eyes, take a deep breath, and we're just gonna do 3 seconds of gratitude. Close your eyes. Feel your breath. Take a deep breath. Just remember, gratitude starts with us. The greatest gift we can give to others is our positive energy. So make sure that you cultivate that. All righty, so then let's go to, okay, so I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully it's going to work. Yes. Yay.
Perfect.
All right, let me move this out of the way.
We see it.
Okay. So everybody can hear me, okay?
Yeah, we're fine.
Okay, so Spa Months 2023, this is a very interesting year because the prices have changed. For those who doesn't know, Spa Months start July 1st and ends on August 31st. It's very important for residents and locals and also for hospitality guests because they reduce the prices considerably. We run from $109 to $159 and $199. This year, they put the 109 optional, and the 159 was the main price. We, with our spas, we decide to create meaningful experiences. For those who knows, Calma is the first Peruvian crystal spa in the United States. The second one is in Chicago, the Ritz-Carlton. We have Leaf, which is our second brand. It's the AK Hotel, it used to be the Conrad. And our second brand is at the Fairmont Hotel in Chicago. And we base those spas and experiences and something more meaningful. Spas is supposed to be getting you relaxing and just find you some peace of mind, and we just add some experiences to get you ready for your next journey. So this year, our spa month for Calma has been designed beautifully. So to indulge the healing of power of the chocolate. Who's a chocolate lover? Please tell me you are, because I am. And we decided to create that with a mantra and a car guided meditation experience. So you choose the chocolate, let's say dulce de leche, and it matches you with a crystal. So that's your treatment. I'm going to show you the menu really quick. And then Leaf is about the crafted herbal teas that it's a self-discovery, but it's also a very holistic healing. So we're trying to use the properties of transformation from the chamomile, the peppermint, the lavender, and it also has a guided meditation or guided experience with soundbowl healing and other practices that we do. And then we are at the SLS. We are part of the brand since November last year. And we decided to participate. Ciel, we decided to do Ciel, is Italian word, but it's also cielo in Spanish. So we decided to do some celestial navigation. And it's like the celestial navigation is super amazing because that's the art of like the Indians, Incans, and Mayans and Egyptians that they used to do when they were traveling to find their North Star. And that's what our inspiration that we decided to do that there is for us to surrender and then find what is that thing that we want to let go in our life who will help us move forward. And with that, we do some self-discovery, and the menu you will see is amazing. So this is the menu for Calma. So as you see, you have the chocolate citrine, the cocoa crystals, the agave awakening, the copal cocoa coconut, and the treatments are really incredible. We decide to do a lot of the 109s, as you see. We decide to do one massage, one facial, and one body treatment. The dulce de leche, the body treatments are 159. Some of the other properties, they have this as an add-on or just one treatment. I feel like we are in, our economy is not what it was last year or the year before that. And I feel like we all need to experience a little bit of like healing with a really powerful treatment. So that was our gift to our community. And this is Leaf. My favorite here is the grounding green tea. I'm a fanatic of green tea. When it comes to special treatments, we have the chamomile calm, which is 109 for 50 minutes, and the ginger glow. We have different ones. This one is specific. We have a signature treatment because adds every treatment that you have, you can add a tarot reading. So they do tarot and tea reading, and it's super awesome because then you can find out the mystery of what is in there in the future for you. Then you have Seal, which is fire, air, water, and earth. And we base it on all of the signs, Aries, Gemini, Cancer. So you can find, sometimes we are one sign, but actually our moon is in a different one. And that's actually the one that it guides us all the time when we make our decisions. So when you start working with your treatments in that kind of like a space, it creates a lot of abundance for us, just for you to know. So I'm sharing 3 beauty tips at home. These 2 are my favorite ones. This one is awesome as well. You can screenshot it, take a picture. It's very powerful. I'm in love with the green tea. It's a table of honey, 1 tablespoon of yogurt, and the lemon juice. You can use that for any kind of irritation, inflammation, or rosacea. The cocoa power with brown sugar is incredible for, let's see that you've been traveling a lot and then you feel like your skin is a little dry. This is incredible because it just takes the layer away so that you can receive hydration. And of course, the sage body treatment. So this is our picture of our relaxation room. I also want to share with you, let me see if I can, how can I stop sharing? Maybe you can stop sharing, Miguel?
Should be something at the top that says stop sharing.
Yeah.
You go all the way to
Let me see, hold on.
If you stop sharing, you won't be able to show anything. That's fine. Oh, do you
Stop
want just
sharing.
camera? I'll cut you off. So you stop sharing. 1 second. And then you'll have full camera.
There you go, no?
There you go. Yep.
Oh, perfect. So this is a must to have, and you can find this in Trader Joe's. This is an incredible sunscreen. This sunscreen, I'm obsessed with it because it doesn't leave your face white. It's not greasy. You can put it on top of makeup if you want to. It's $7.99. It's incredible for babies, and it has no chemicals, but it's very powerful and it protects you from the sun. So you're very welcome. So I'm gonna do my trivia question.
Sure. Well, let me see if anybody has any questions. Let me
Oh.
see. No questions. Okay. Go ahead and well, first of all, what's the prize, Marissa?
So we're gonna do 2 treatments and leave. You can choose, and then and we're gonna have 1 basket of spa products. It's gonna have our summer tea, which is delicious, our signature candle, and sunscreen.
Nice.
So who can tell me what was the first spa in Miami Beach?
The first spa in Miami Beach.
Calma. And no. It was a hotel spa, by the way.
No. Victor,
Nope.
Caroline, Russian Turkish bathhouse,
I thought also there was a Fontainebleau, but it's not Fontainebleau.
the Lido, Leaf Ritz.
Yes, the Lido. Who said that?
Lido, Stella
Lido.
Ross.
Yes. So
Stella
that was
Ross,
actually, it was the
congratulations.
standard now, but it was the Lido before and was originally opened in 1953 as the Monterey Hotel, and then which opened 1 year before the Fontainebleau. So they have the first spa,
Cool.
which
Congratulations.
was rooms, by the way. It was not like what it is today. They were just rooms when people that were having like 4 massages.
Nice. Good question. Congratulations on the answer. Very, very good. Anyone having questions whatsoever? No. Thank you very much, Marissa. Informative as always. How is Spa Month coming along?
It's really good. Actually, we are very impressed. We were in Deco Drive for 2-hour spas, and
Yep.
Calma is still strong in Ocean Drive. It's our baby, but Leaf is our new brand, and we were super excited that it's a different market. It's Brickle, and so the SLS. So we're very excited. We're moving and making sure that everybody knows that that's our second home for all of you. So I always say, and this is funny because I was talking to a dear friend of mine. She said, how in the world you will give somebody a gift of a massage and they will not take it? If I make a list of all the people that I know in this Zoom, that I give them a massage and they never take it, it's crazy.
Stella,
So shame on you,
Stella,
Susie Velasquez.
Stella, you're going to need them. You're going to have to do the massage. The pressure's on, Stella.
Oh,
You're gonna
and
be
by
part
the
of that
way,
list.
the spaces that we have created now, they have a meditation room, a relaxation room, they have a hydrotherapy, and they have a infrared sauna, which is a capsule for yourself. And I'm extending this invitation to all of my hospitality, beautiful people that has been supporting us through the years. Sometimes we don't need a massage. Sometimes we just need a little bit of calm, a space that I can just decompress. Some people, they don't even like massages, which is unheard of. But if you want to go and do a meditation or have a session with our healers, if you feel like you are going through some breakup, divorces, sickness, whatever it is, please send me a text message. We'll open our home for you because we created these spaces to heal. And I feel like if we don't start with us, then, tell me, Ceci.
I have a question. Do you have a membership program? I know you guys were considering it at some point.
Yes. So we do have a membership program at Leaf, and it's at $99 and includes all of the amenities and includes one treatment a month, and then also the swimming pool. So,
That's
and we
one
have
time
different
or monthly?
categories so that you can look at it.
The membership's $99, but is that a month?
A month, yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Per person.
per person.
Is it transferable or is it just by the used by the individual?
It's transferable. If you want to do it you can do it for yourself. Listen, a lot of people, they want to just use the steam room. I know so many people just want to store the steam room, and then they give the massages to their wives. So we customize whatever you guys want. Our main goal is for us to find peace of mind and then just feel happiness inside. Where it's above is below. So let's focus on this.
Excellent. A couple of messages, Marissa. I don't know if you're watching the chat. Rio says you are a wonderful person. Congratulations on your success.
I
And
love
Gary
you,
would like to
Rio.
stop by without having a treatment. He has a lot of clients that would like to
Yes.
to explore.
Yeah.
So thank you very much.
We do, if you want to bring your, we do a VIP tours, and we give them special gifts, and then we give them a tour of everything that we do, and we give them a little guided meditation and then a little gift and then go away. So our partners from different hotels in Brickell, they're sending their guests to us. And sometimes people don't want to do it, but just wanted to have and use the amenities. For us, bringing the people just for them to know, because it's new. You know, when we opened Calma, we brought everybody. And Calma is now our baby shining and healing in Ocean Drive. We have, I think, around 8 partners, so all of the boutique hotels around us, and they use us as their amenity.
Nice. So as far as locations, you have Calma, you have Leaf. Leaf is at the AAKA.
Yeah, it's
Calma's at the
1395
Victor.
Brickell Avenue. Yeah,
Calma's at the Victor.
yeah.
And then do you have any other locations in Miami?
The SLS, we have other little tiny small properties, but the ones that are complete spas with amenities are the SLS, Brickell, and Leaf, which is in Brickell Avenue 1395, and then Calma, which is next to the Versace Mansion in Ocean Drive.
And then if anyone's ever up in the windy city of Chicago, you're also at the Ritz-Carlton.
Yeah, we're at the Ritz-Carlton and we are at the Fairmont.
Fairmont as well. Wow.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And
Good
the
for you.
Fairmont is like the big mama of Leaf. Like our front desk was inspired by a willow tree. AKA our willow tree is small, but it just is the meaning of bringing community together. In Chicago, it's humongous. It's like it's the windy city. We needed a bigger tree. So if you guys want to come and
Excellent.
visit us, please let us know.
Excellent. Thank you, Marissa. Thank you very much. Thank you for a great presentation. Again, congratulations to Stella. You're being held to account. And I see that Hannah has a 1:00 appointment for you with you at Calma today.
That's so beautiful.
She's looking forward to that.
I'm gonna share my email right now. Somebody's asking if I can share my email. So
Of course. Also, Jody has a question. Will you be coming to Broward County? Do you have any plans for Broward County yet?
No.
No?
I mean,
Okay.
I would love to, but it's not in the plans yet.
Okay. All right.
I just put
Jody's
my
from
email
Re-
address if you guys need something.
Jody's from Rita's Italian Ices, so maybe you guys can have something, spa treatment and then an Italian ice after. Just saying, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It will work.
Thank you very much.
Whatever
Melissa.
you can bring to inspire wellness, we'll take it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, we move on to Mr. Andrew. Andrew, you ready, sir?
I am.
Go ahead whenever you are.
All right. Let me know when you can see it.
We see it.
See it. Fantastic. All right. Well, hey, good morning, everybody. Good to see you today. And there's a lot of hard acts here to follow. Sports, spas, and I just have statistics. So I don't know which one you like more, but today is going to be about statistics for me. And again, thank you for supporting everybody who's on this call, for supporting this every month. Miguel, this is the 24th time that I've done this, and it's hard to believe.
24. Wow.
Not that I'm counting, right? But it's been the 24th time that I've come on here and shared every month. And I just really appreciate the opportunity to come here and talk about what's going on in tourism, both nationally and locally, because I know a lot of people, a lot of our partners who are also on this call come to me at different events, and they email me, and I know that they're very appreciative of that, and that really means something to me. That means that as an organization, we're hitting the mark. So thank you for that. Let's go on and talk about some of the things going on here in Miami-Dade County. As you know, folks, most of the time it's a simple format of talking about things from a more of a national, international view. And we'll talk about some of the things going on in our market specifically, and then we'll talk about what we see things going on now that could be impacting things for the future. So with that, let's begin. Well, the rise and fall of pandemic excess savings, as we've talked about for months, really what's been keeping things going here, despite, as we know, there's a lot of different challenges going on in our economy. But what's really going on here, what's buoying the tourism is really just savings, right? So as long as people are spending money, that's where things continue to remain constant and go up. But when they run out of money, well, that's a different story, right? As we all know. So this article I came across from the Federal Reserve Bank of San Francisco, I felt really spelled it out pretty well. So their title, Rise and Fall of Pandemic Excess Savings. So we've been talking about this subject for months, how savings is really important. Watching the savings rate of consumers, as well as what's left in their bank accounts, is what really, I think, tells us the most complete story of where we're going and what we're going to see coming down the line here. As we know, a lot of people are talking about recession. So this really does play into that. So what this really talks about here is that, as we know, people accumulated a lot of savings in the pandemic. That chart to the right there really, and I'll go to that chart to the right in a moment, but it really does illustrate it very well. But as we know, when the pandemic started, people started staying home, working from home, as well as a very large stimulus package that came through that put a lot of money in people's pockets. So therefore, they had lots to spend, but they also saved a lot. So we saw a lot of saving in 2020. And then in 2021, we got another stimulus out there that also put more money into people's pockets. So that's really where people have been probably dipping the most, is this excess savings that they've had, and sort of this walking around money from not having to save as much. As we've talked about before, the savings rate has gone down. So people are really, they're not saving like they were. As a matter of fact, they're really not saving much at all right now. They're really kind of spending their savings. And so, well, I'm not going to read through this whole slide here, but the story here is that we do see a very substantial drawdown of savings, and it's been pretty consistent for the most part. It accelerated a lot last year, and then this year it's still going on here. But what this is really saying here, and what these folks are saying, the Federal Reserve Bank, is they're saying that they expect that based on the present rate, give or take, all things remaining equal, that people will probably go through their savings by the end of this year. And I think that sort of falls in line with some of these talks about the economy, about recession. So we'll see how that works, but this is a pretty good measure, in my opinion, to see where people are going to be. So they're burning through their savings, essentially. And so let's see how it holds up. We'll talk about this every month, and we'll monitor this, and I'll share with you any type of developments. Travel demand from U.S. travel. As they mentioned, people are still spending. Retail sales on a national level grew in May. Again, we're expecting job losses and some not so great wage gains expected later this year. They cite the labor market, which is going to be supporting consumer spending. They also mentioned, too, that even though we expect things to get slower, a lot of companies may be hesitant to let go of the people that they have. So that could be very positive, and that's obviously due to labor shortages. They mentioned inflation. As we all know, inflation is continued to be a problem for us. It's still above pre-pandemic, but they hope that weaker demand and reduced supply constraints, of course, this interest rate going up, are what they're expected to push the inflation down by the end of this year, hopefully. But that said, looking at travel indicators from air, hotel, and then travel sentiment, while they're improving, they're sort of normalizing in May. And I hate to use the word normalize, but I do think that a lot of what we're seeing right now is what we would consider to be more normalized, particularly in Miami. And I'll mention that more in a moment. But what we see, again, economic slowdown still anticipated, these interest rates elevated and probably going up, a tighter labor market, which they expect, some other things that we do believe that these will be challenges in the coming months, especially on discretionary spending, of which we know travel is a very important part of that. So we know that, as we've talked about, domestic leisure is going to be resilient. We know here in Miami, it's been massive. After months of elevated leisure demand, particularly here in Miami, we do expect things to normalize, to level out a little bit after 2 really hot years of tourism. So we also see too, as we've talked about, the international inbound travel is improving a lot, and I'll say more about that in a moment. Business travel, group travel is also growing a lot right now, and we do expect those things to continue, but maybe moderate in next year. And again, through U.S. travel, inbound international markets, they are improving. So we are seeing a steady recovery, March, April, and carrying over into May, which is the most recent month that's available. Canada is really doing very well here. We know we've seen this here in our market, but we also know now that nationally it's the same thing. They're actually outperforming pre-pandemic levels. Mexico, really not so much, although I think they've been performing better in Miami as opposed to most other parts of the country. But there are different varying degrees of recovery, as we know. So some of the markets like the DR and Ecuador, two markets that are important to us, are doing very, very well. Some other ones that we're not dependent on, like China and Japan, well, obviously they are way far behind. So, well, all those things, when we put it all together, U.S. travel is saying that they expect international visitations to basically reach 2019 by the end of 2024, which I think is actually pretty positive, because a lot of forecasts I've seen the last several months were not saying that. They were saying, 25, 26. So this is maybe pretty rosy or maybe pretty bullish, but I'm sharing this with you so you can see this is what U.S. travel is saying. We see recovery in other markets like Germany and France. Again, Brazil, also another market that I'll mention in a moment with a little bit more detail, but Brazil is doing much better. However, as we know, there's still these barriers out there that are continuing to plague us. And maybe one of the biggest ones are excessive visa wait times. And, a lot of them are not improving. Some are improving, some are not improving, and that's unfortunate. And again, looking at the average visa wait times for countries that need a visa here in the United States is 525 days. So it is really still a formidable challenge. Looking at the dollar, our dollar is performing very well relative to other currencies. So that makes it more difficult for visitors to come here and spend. And we know here in Miami that we do rely an awful lot, especially on our international people, to come here and shop. And I do understand anecdotally that we are seeing some slowdown there in some of the shopping here in Miami. And then, of course, as we've talked about, there's a slowdown out there too, not just the United States, but also globally. And a lot of places like Europe is in a recession. So that definitely could have an impact on visitation. I'll mention this survey real briefly here, and it's titled "Good Service is Still Important and Inspected." This comes from Longwoods. They've been running this survey for the last several years, and it's a monthly survey on traveler sentiment here in the United States. And so what they've basically talked about here is that perceptions of service are actually not so bad. They've improved over the past several months. But that said, their expectations are also on the rise. So more and more people are saying in their survey that they expect a higher level of service on their next trip than before the pandemic. So what does that mean? That means the travel industry still has a lot of work to do to meet and or exceed customer expectations. And of course, whatever business you're in would apply as well. Demand for travel is still up, even though people have economic concerns. They're looking here at 91% of respondents said they still have plans to travel in the next 6 months. And then I'll mention ChatGPT, which, those of you, maybe not everybody has heard of ChatGPT. According to this study, 30% of travelers, they don't really know what ChatGPT is. I'll just quite frankly say that ChatGPT scares the crap out of me. Why does it scare me? Because really it does an awful lot of things for you, right? So if any of you understand or know what ChatGPT is, it uses AI, and I won't, artificial intelligence. There was a joke running around last week on social media. I don't know if I really want to tell that joke. AI stands for artificial intelligence, and ChatGPT uses artificial intelligence to organize information and make decisions. And the more you tell it, the more it learns. So there's an adoption going on here with ChatGPT across the board, but also here in April, about 1/3 of American travelers said they were likely to use ChatGPT and plan their next trip. And then according to the survey, 14% of American travelers reporting used it in their recent trip planning. So there seems to be a high degree of probability that people will start to use ChatGPT as it takes on momentum to do things like travel, planning your travel. And again, so a lot of people still don't know, 30% of travelers. So what we need to do, but our organization and many others are going to have to understand how ChatGPT could be affecting our business and how people are using it and how we're going to have to adapt to that. And then finally on this page, economic sentiment indicators are relatively unchanged. Some of the issues that people have are, well, yes, their finances, When it comes to their experiences, rising airfares is an issue for people. And of course, the risk of delays, cancellations. If you've flown recently, you know exactly what that is. So some of these will deter some people from traveling or maybe potentially flying in the upcoming months. Walt Disney, well, it's not Miami, thank goodness. So I thought I'd bring this up because Walt Disney Orlando is a competitor of us. And so it's always good to look out there and look at some of these other areas to see how our competitors are doing. And Walt Disney not doing so great in a number of different ways. So July 4th actually was their lowest foot traffic in 10 years. So I think that's pretty significant. I have been reading about this topic. I went to multiple sites, multiple authors to try to get a view that was really most, I think I'm going to say honest. You know, lots of times there are slants out there about these types of things. And it's really true that they are definitely hitting lower park traffic than usual. And I'll just note too that some of the other parks like Universal and so forth, they're also seeing lower visitation, maybe not quite as much, but they're also seeing a decline as well. So that could be linked back to what we were talking about spending as well. You know, I have a coworker, she just went on vacation. She decided instead of taking her kids to amusement park, she went to Philadelphia. And so that was her experience. She took her kids to Philadelphia. They walked around there for a week and talked about the Phillies and everything else. Not really, but they really enjoyed themselves there. And I thought that was a really great thing personally, because they decided to take their kids on a place where really they'll probably learn more. So even Disney's chairman is starting to call what's going on a moderation, or maybe they should just say normalization. But that said, there could be a number of reasons why this is happening. I think we know some Disney struggles here. There is definitely some political battles going on. We also know that price increases have been going on there. There are a number of other factors. The heat maybe also has a way of keeping people away, but a number of reasons. But if I had to pick the one that I think is probably most relevant, I'd be pretty sure it's prices. Quickly looking at our airport to understand how well we're doing. Overall, doing very well. That table on the upper left-hand side of the screen is our arrival traffic from January to May. As you can see here, that arrivals for international are up 15%. Domestic down a little bit, but that has really a lot to do with the fact that last year and the year before are so strong. Now we're seeing a little bit of decline from domestic, not anything that I'm particularly worried about. But overall, that volume is still really strong. It's at just over 3% growth from January to May, year over year. And that those bars at the bottom not really mean much other than the fact we do look at the split of international domestic arrivals, because historically, prior to the pandemic, we always saw really about a 50-50% and very consistent 50-50 split of international domestic. And as we can see here, it's still a little heavier on domestic, but domestic still is not, I mean, international is really not so bad. And then down at the bottom there, if you really care to look, there's a table that showed the percent change year over year for the last 45 days or so. And that is looking at international and domestic. And you can see that growth, as we mentioned before, is really more on the international front. Port Miami, there's a huge story. We could go on for a lot longer. I'll try not to go on too long. But Port Miami is a great story. There's an awful lot going on over there. And what I've done here is looking upper left-hand table again, the passenger volume hit 4 million passengers from January to June of this year. That's a 100% increase from the same time period a year ago, and 9% above 2019, which was our best cruise year here ever. So things are really rocking and rolling over there. Looking at that line chart I created, it's just showing what pre-pandemic average daily passengers look like at the port, and then what we're seeing right now. And really, that dotted line is what it was, and then this solid red line shows you where we've been. And even a year ago, we were essentially just about up to that daily volume that we saw pre-pandemic. But if you go over a few months to January, we have really just been really knocking it out of the park. And starting in January, and I'll point out there, April, 24% increase in the overall passenger traffic at Port Miami from the pandemic. So pretty amazing stuff going on over there. Dining performance, we've used OpenTable an awful lot because OpenTable provides this data on their website. Every one of these slides where I have the information, you can always go down here to our bottom right-hand corner and click where there's a link, and you can go right to this page and look at it yourself in more detail. But really what I want to point out here are just a few things. One, we do know that the volume of dining in Miami from OpenTable restaurants, the number of seated diners is not what it was last year. It started out strong, and then we can see there with those yellowed out bars, Miami and Miami Beach in particular are two cities that they're actually seeing somewhat of a decline in terms of the overall number of diners coming through their restaurants. It's not huge, but again, last year was also a strong year. That might be part of it. Over to the far right there, upper right-hand line chart shows you what that looks like on a national level. And again, it sort of mirrors what we're seeing. It started out very strong beginning of this year, sort of slid a little bit in terms of volume. And then right now we're sort of hovering just a little bit below in terms of on a national level. And then down there at the bottom is a good indicator. We talked about inflation. We talked about spending. And I think this is really, I looked at this for a while and because I thought it was interesting. And what you look at here is what you're seeing is that blue line indicates the US inflation rate over the past year. And that red line indicates the check size, right? The average change year over year in how much people are spending in their visit, in their dining. And so what we see here is that whenever inflation starts to go up, it pushes down the overall total of your check size. So, and we can see that happens every time you start to see this start to increase, it pushes down the average check size. But the good news here is actually after a period of time, it does catch up, and I would expect that. So that's what we're seeing here. When these inflation things happen, it really does put a damper on people's pocketbooks. Looking at this, and again, a lot of information here. I know I don't have a whole lot of time left to talk, but in terms of visitation, I-92 is what measures the port of entry. So we look at MIA and Fort Lauderdale. Left-hand table here is showing you what these markets are looking like right now. Top market, Brazil, coming into MIA, Fort Lauderdale, with one caveat. They don't show Canada or Mexico in their data, so I don't know where they stand. I'm sure they're very high. But the takeaway here is that just about all these markets are seeing an awful lot of improvement year over year. So the only one is an exception, as we've talked about, Colombia. Colombia is not having as strong of a year as they did last year. Over to the right here, real briefly, these are the total volumes of visitors. The good news here is we are still picking up momentum. Q1, we had just about 3.7 million domestic visitors into Miami-Dade County. That is still far above 2019. International is improving, but still not to where it was in prior years. Looking at our hotel market performance here, we see for the first 5 months of this year, Miami-Dade County placed number 5 in the top 10 of the top 25 overall U.S. hotel markets. That's still very strong. ADRs, as we know, are not what they were, but they're still on a countrywide level, still really high. Looking at that demand, as we've talked about, that's a very good indicator of the overall volume of people coming here. The room demand has been very positive for most of this year. We are still seeing year over year increases, a little bit of weakness in April, but we have still come back, and maybe moderation is the word here. From a regional perspective, and again, I'm going to kind of run through some of this to get to our end here. But overall, this was the week ending July 7th. So we do know that 4th of July was in this week, and it was not bad performance. We saw occupancy on par with last year and some of the other years. ADR down, and of course, RevPAR, that's your multiplier of occupancy at ADR, was also down a little bit. Some of the bright spots here, I want to point out, Miami Beach actually did a lot better than I thought it would. I did not forecast the occupancy to do as well over the 4th of July weekend as it did. It was up 8% year over year. And then looking at this demand on a 90-day reserved occupancy, this is what we're seeing on the books on a daily basis for the next 90 days. And then we show here, I show hotel and I show essentially Airbnb. And what does that future reservation activity look like here? And this is here on the top. You see that dotted line was a year ago. These bars are what's going on presently. The good news here is we are still seeing a lot of good demand on both fronts. And as I've noticed here for a while now, we might see some slowness in the next month or two in terms of overall pacing, but we're also seeing a very short-term demand pickup at the same time. So while it might seem slow, a lot of hotels are seeing very positive last-minute booking. And then short-term rentals is also a very, very strong story. And they've actually added 20% more capacity in the market over the last year. But that said, you can see that the occupancy is still holding up fairly well. And then looking for the next year, the story here is that actually we're not seeing on the hotel front, we're still seeing pretty good activity. And we're staying pretty much on par with last year, maybe a little bit of difference here. But overall, the story here is that we're still looking pretty good. In December, we talked about for months. December's looked really good for a while now from a meetings perspective, from a leisure perspective, and it is still the case now. And then finally, I want to talk a little bit about, and last month I talked a little bit, I had a slide that had an elephant on it, and that meant the elephant in the room. There are some issues out there that we know there's a lot of talk, and there are travel advisories and people saying one thing and another thing. And so I saw this little study came across my desk from the University of Florida. Well, it doesn't tell the whole story. I thought it was interesting because they surveyed a lot of people, travelers to Florida, Floridians, non-Floridians, and they talked about Florida, and they asked people to to examine Florida, to talk about the types of information that they consume when they're looking to plan trips to Florida. They felt how much did it impact their decision and then their intention to book. And I'm not going to read through all of these. There's 12 different variables that they measure these people on, but a couple of them I thought were really pertinent was things like openness, hospitality, looking at things like culture and history, tourist attractions, things that we know we excel in, and how do people, how do they learn about these things, and what do they think are really the things that attract them to Florida or detract them from Florida. So one finding, 40% of the total respondents said they were impacted by social media, and that's when making their travel decisions. 18% by travel TV related programs, and just 14% by travel articles and news. I point that out because we've talked about how there's a lot of word out there sometimes that gets out there that becomes very negative, and quite honestly does or can affect, I should say, can affect tourism. So really, when you see where people are getting their information from, relatively few people, good news, I guess, are really looking at some of this news and maybe articles. Where they're really getting information from is from social media, which I think is probably expected, but this is really probably the most primary source that they use to plan their trips. One thing they do mention here, both visitors, local, non-local, they mention that beautiful scenery, price competitiveness, imagery, culture, history, right? Hospitable communities and residents are some of the strong points of Florida. So when they were asked what they liked the most, they said Disney and fun. But when they asked provide 3 things that need to be improved in Florida, they were most likely to list traffic, crowdedness, and prices. And why is that important? Well, it's important because those are always our problems. There's a saying out there, I have always liked this, if you think you have problems, if we had the opportunity to take our problems and put them into a pile and then pick out whatever problems you want, well, chances are you pick your own out, right? Because you don't want somebody else's problems. And so that's how I looked at this. Our problems are traffic, crowdedness, and prices. They've always been. So I'll take our problems back over any type of negative news about Florida. And then finally, I'm not going to play this. I don't have time to play this, but we made a video here to talk about some of these issues in our market. There's a link on the bottom right-hand corner. You may have seen this. If you didn't, I think this is very highly worth your time to watch this video that we made about how we could address some of the opportunities that have come up from these travel advisories. And it starts out with that good-looking bald guy in upper left-hand corner, our CEO, David Whitaker. And what we've really done here is we put together testimonials of business owners and people who live here in Miami to talk about tourism, to talk about our culture, to tell our story, and talk about how this is the opportunity when we have this awareness to take advantage of this opportunity to show people that we are a hospitable, welcoming destination. We do have things here. We have imagery. So I think that's important because, in my opinion, I think we nailed it. As I just mentioned, that previous study talks about what's important, and I do believe that we've covered that. And again, highly recommend that you watch this video. So in summary, I won't go through all of this. Again, we are running a little short on time. Sorry, Ceci. But we still see travel demand pretty strong. The indicators for travel are pretty strong. Cruise on fire. Savings are being depleted. There are some competitive factors, as we've shown. And then finally, we do see good traveler attitudes towards us. And I think that we're still hitting the mark.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Informational, as always. We will share the deck with everyone in the post notes. So thank you very much. You have your question ready? I
do. I talked about Disney a little bit, and I mentioned their volume of visitors to their parks, and I mentioned that July 4th was a really low July 4th, and I mentioned in how many years, the lowest in how many years. Looks like they got that.
10 years. 10 years?
Yes.
And the winner is Jennifer Gironda. Congratulations, Jennifer. You will be receiving a gas card. Jennifer Gironda. Anybody have any questions for Andrew before we move on to Ceci? Any questions? No. Excellent. Thank you very much, Andrew. As always, amazing information. And we move on to Ceci. Well, before we want, let me split screen because we have some guests on here. And we want you to see them.
They're so big already.
Look at them. Do you see them? Do you see no, I can't see them. Say something. Speak, Marissa. Take off mute. It doesn't split screen.
So I
Marissa
know a lot of
has
people,
two
they
little
always
ones.
ask me,
Look at
Can
them.
you bring them, please? And I
Look
said,
at them.
they're so little. They get sick really fast. So I'm just waiting for like all the shots to be done. So then, but they are like, they're getting there. They are 9 months now. Dile hi, Rosita. Hi.
Your two assistants. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Right.
What a blessing.
Thank
What a
you.
beautiful blessing.
Yeah.
We move on to Ceci. Ceci, how are things on the beach?
Everything is, I mean, the beach, we live in paradise, absolute paradise, but the heat is on. Andrew, I love listening to Andrew with all the statistics because that's really the pulse of everything that we do.
Go ahead.
Sorry about that. I had to put you on mute for just a second. So, but I'm telling you, there are so many wonderful things to do on Miami Beach that doesn't have to do with being on the beach. We love for them to come out to the sidewalk cafes with the fans and the misters. Everybody still wants to be in Miami Beach and be outdoors at some point, but I'm going to point everybody, actually, I'm going to ask everybody to take a minute and go to mbartsandculture.org. See if I can put it in the chat, mbartsandculture.org. And don't forget that we have wonderful music, wonderful art, beautiful places to go indoors as well. So I know people, I was out on Ocean Drive yesterday. I was walking around the beach. There's still plenty of people that want to get that sun and fun and dip their toes in the ocean, and sit on a beautiful sidewalk cafe. But there are indoor things and there's arts and culture, and that is what we are becoming known for. So I think that even North Beach with the bandshell and the Normandy Fountain evening concerts that they have, our concert on Ocean Drive every single Sunday. When it comes towards the end of the day and sunset, there's still this beautiful cool breeze, and it is exactly what people are coming to Miami Beach for. So encourage them to come out. We had a wonderful 4th of July. Incredible. The police estimated about 10,000 people came out for the fireworks and for the concert. It is only growing. We have a full orchestral concert that plays at the 4th of July and does a whole patriotic series of music. I am now planning New Year's Eve. So New Year's Eve is on a Sunday. It's optimal for us to look at the entire weekend and what we can do. I'll keep you up on that because that now is the time to start thinking about New Year's Eve weekend and doing the concert in the park, having the extensions in the street, but doing things in a bigger way and drawing people to the magic, which is South Beach. I think we also need to pay attention to what's going on in the city. The elevation of Lincoln Road is very important, and it's important to all of us in the industry. Right now, there's plans to continue the pedestrianization over those 2 blocks over where the bus stops are and the CVS is. So to move that over and to continue the Lapidus vision all the way to the beach walk. People can stay on Ocean Drive and walk all the way over to the convention center if we can continue that pedestrianization. The city has supported it thus far, but I want to keep all of us in the industry in mind of some of these very impactful things as far as urban planning and development that's going to help us in our industry as well. We're going to be looking at redoing Ocean Drive and Lummis Park. We're having so many different ideas. March will not have all these activations like they had in the past. We're really thinking about more of a permanent art sculpture garden going on there. So those are the kind of wonderful things that are happening. And I don't want to keep you too long. New Year's Eve, 4th of July was fantastic. New Year's Eve is coming up. I know things are going to start popping right now. The heat is on. It is July. I do hear people saying that occupancy is not the best right now. Restaurants are down, but that's a little bit usual for this time of year. July and August, and it is hotter than ever. The first excessive heat advisory in, I think, the history of Miami Beach. But there are things to do that can keep your customers safe and cool, entertained, and educated. And thanks for having me, Miguel. Really, thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thank you. You're a pleasure to work with, and you give us so much information on the beach. So thank you very much. It's always good to have you. Real quick, I know it's already 11 o'clock sharp. We'd like to end this as we start on time. Parting message, it's easy to make a buck. It's tougher to make a difference. We hope that you strive to make a difference in the lives of someone else, or as many as you can. Be kind to all. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Ceci. Thank you, Marissa, Juliana, and Rachel. Congratulations to our winners, Stella Ross, Gary Figler, and Jennifer Garanda. August 14th is our next show with our special guest, Miami Spice. We'll hear about all the restaurants. It'll start up as of August 1st. We have 2 months to try all the restaurants you can. We have a really cool meeting coming up next Monday night. I'll be sending you a link. It's a panel discussion with the top concierges in South Florida at History Miami Museum. The bar is sponsored by 305 Transportation. Food is provided by catering by Tanya, Fogo de Chao, and Salt and Straw Ice Cream. So not only will you get some information, we're going to feed you as well. We'll send you a link to the RSVP. Please love and God bless everyone. Take care. Have a wonderful Monday. It is 11:01 and I am off. Bye-bye, everyone. Take care.
Thank you, Miguel.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Thank you. Our goal is to inspire travel. We want to expose you to what Miami and South Florida has to offer. From Key Biscayne to Coconut Grove, South Beach to Calle Ocho, and everywhere in between. Miami is a vibrant city and offers a wide array of popular attractions and venues. Come join us.